Welcome to the Lynn Miller Room. In this edition of the Eagle Sports Coaches Show, David Williams, softball coach at Morehead State, has joined us now. Been a while, but finally the weather got a chance to, I guess, break and get some games in.
Been a little scattered, haven't gotten in as many as we'd like, but yeah, we've definitely been able to get a few more games in, been able to play some, and hopefully the weather holds out. The forecast for the next several days looks extremely good. So hopefully we're getting into a better weather pattern now. The weather seemed to follow us. It doesn't matter where we go, it follows us. So hopefully we start to be able to string some nice days together here.
Now, people are listening to this show on Tuesday evening, probably the latter stages of a doubleheader hopefully getting concluded at University Field. Northern Kentucky is coming to town for a game, if they're watching it on the video, at 2 and 4. So, you get a chance to at least play at home for a couple games.
Yeah, actually, no, we've played 8 home games already, which has been surprising. We've canceled more away games than we have home games. So our field hasn't been too much of an issue. But Northern Kentucky does come in today. We get to play a couple home games before we hit the road again this weekend. And hopefully by the time the show airs, we'll have 2 wins to talk about.
Busy weekend, as you mentioned. Austin Peay doubleheader on Saturday the 6th, and then Murray State a doubleheader on Sunday the 7th. Tell us a little bit about those teams.
Well, both of them have new coaching staffs. They've been kind of up and down, both teams. They've won some games that they probably shouldn't have won. They've lost some games they should have won. So kind of up and down right now. I think we match up really well against them with our offense. So, as long as we score runs and play defense and take care of all the little things, we should be okay.
As you mentioned, you've got more games away than home, but you're even at 11-11. I know as a coach, no coach is ever happy with the record.
Right.
So overall, if you had to grade yourself thus far this season, what would you give your team?
That's a good question. If I had to put a grade on it, I'd say a B-. Only because we've lost some games that I feel like we shouldn't have lost. And when I say that, when you beat yourself, it's frustrating. Now the weather has played into some of that, not getting onto a field as much as we'd like, having inconsistency in our games and things like that. But where the positives come in, we are leading the conference in hitting. We're 5th in pitching and 5th in defense. So we're right in the middle of everything. So when you look at us statistically, we shouldn't be 11-11. So really what we need to do is we need to eliminate the small mistakes, really concentrate on things that are going to make us successful. And then as we get more game experience, which is sad, we're sitting here April 2nd, we're talking about game experience just because we haven't gotten that many into this point. But as we get more game experience, those things will start to iron themselves out.
As a team hitting .310, let me just tell you something. It's come a long way. There's several years ago that the softball team struggled to get up, around the 200 level. And, Elizabeth Wagner having a great season those far hitting-wise at .492.
She's on fire. She's on fire. She's up to 3rd in the nation right now in hitting. Just when you think she's not going to get another hit, she gets another one. She's already got 2 in the game, and she comes up, and you're thinking, okay, maybe she'll be 2 for 4 this game. Well, then she gets a 3rd hit. She's on fire, and the people around her are hitting really well, which allows her to hit well because she's going to see good pitches too. Because I think our first 5 hitters are all hitting over 300. So it makes it really difficult for an opposing pitching staff to really try to pitch around anybody when you got 3 people hitting over 300. And then we got a couple people right behind, 6, 7, 8 that are flirting with that 300 mark. So as a team, we're really hitting the ball. We're making good contact, and I just really hope we continue to do that. One of the things we're doing is we're being really good about our pitch selection at the plate, and we're not going too deep into counts. We're allowing ourselves to hit the better pitches and not have to defend.
Anytime that, as you said, the hits will come, the hits are coming. Now, that's the part of the game you don't have to worry about, and maybe, the other parts will come.
Yeah, no, offensively, I've been preaching all year. You score runs, we got a chance. Thing is, you just got to score more than the other team. That's the whole objective. So we just got to maximize our opportunities and minimize the opponent's opportunities.
Pitching-wise, preseason, you were talking about how important it's going to be. How Can we talk? How has the girls been this year thus far?
You know, we've had a lot of great outings this year. We've had a couple shutouts. I can think of the Campbell tournament against Campbell, which is a great offensive team. They were hitting 320-something as a team when we played them. And Katie Post threw a three-hitter, shut them out, which was phenomenal. You know, Kelsey McMurray's had some good games. Greta Smines has come in and had some really good innings. So, you know, when we look at it as a whole, there's been a lot of really good things. The part that's hurt us is when the other team seems to get hits, they seem to get them consecutive. You know, so instead of scattering some of those hits, they'll get 3 in a row. They may only have 6 for the game, but they get 3 in a row, and they wind up getting some runs out of it. So, you know, we can scatter that a little bit better. Obviously, that'll play into our advantage. But pitching staff's done a good job so far, a lot better than where we were at this point last year. They're on track, you know, and our ERA is not bad at all. I mean, we're under 3, so our ERA is doing well. We just need to continue to get a little bit more consistency in some of that, and you know, hopefully defense plays behind them and their offense scores runs.
Yeah, and getting out more consistent has to make you think that, you know, they're going to turn this thing around more, because the fact that you're not going to play a day, take a couple of days off, play, you know, a game, or, you know, stuff like that.
Oh, no, you're right. When we've had 2 different occasions this year where we've had over a week gap between games. It's happened a couple different times because of cancellations. So anytime you go a week stretch without playing a game, it's really hard. I mean, I know in football that's the norm. People do that. You need to recover. Softball, baseball, the more live action you see, the more pitches you see, the more batters you face, the better you're going to be. So, you know, having those gaps, it really does hurt. So as we start to string a lot of games together, and actually I counted it up, assuming we do not have any more rainouts, and we had to reschedule some stuff for April, we're actually going to play 24 games in the month of April, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But if we get those 24 games in by the end of April, it's going to be a lot different. You know, they're going to have so much game experience under their belt, and we'll be caught up with a lot of other people that have been fortunate enough to get games in at this point.
Yeah, if you take a look at your schedule in the month of April, you know, like we said, Austin Peay and Murray State. You got Miami of Ohio. You're going to Butler, and then Jacksonville State at home, and Dayton, and then the OVC wars with UT Martin and SEMO. I mean, that goes to the 21st. Let me flip my page here and see what else. You got Tech, Belmont, and then, of course, mix in Marshall and Eastern Kentucky. It's a pretty tough schedule for April.
It is. It's going to be it'll be somewhat physically exhausting, but I think it's going to be more of a mental thing. You know, just knowing that you have that many games in such a short time frame. So, you know, as long as we can come to terms with the fact that we're going to be playing that much and we're mentally prepared for it, I think we'll be fine.
Well, as a coach, you're hitting and you're getting the pitching, and I think, you know, as a player, then you'd want to play. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, the fact is, I don't want to hear you in practice. I'd rather go out and hear you in a game, and I think, you know, the consistency can turn around more if you play day after day after day.
Oh, definitely. Well, you know, once again, softball, baseball, those are sports where you're going to get more out of the games than you are at practice. And to be quite honest with you, by the time you play 30 games, nobody wants to practice anyway. You just want to keep playing games. So at this point, we got a lot of time for dress rehearsals and game experience, and you know, all that'll start to come together a little bit more. But really proud of what we've done to this point. We've definitely done a lot of things really well. I just would like to see us get a little bit more consistency in some areas and iron out some of the things that we still need to work on.
Once again, the Eagles are home this afternoon at 2 and 4. If you're watching on the internet, or if you're listening, you can come on out and catch the last couple innings. Jacksonville State will be at University Field April 13th and 14th. Also home games with Tennessee Tech on April 24th. Belmont comes into town on April 27th, and Marshall on May 1st. So how has the OVC been? What have you heard? Or what have you seen?
Well, we've probably faced the 2 toughest pitching staffs already with Eastern Illinois and SIUE. SIUE is a complete package at this point. They definitely have my respect. It's a very, very well-rounded team. They can hit, they can pitch, they can field. They've kind of been making a little bit of noise. I would say at this point they might be a front runner and a favorite. But for the rest of the conference, it's been kind of up and down. Everybody's taking turns beating up on each other. And, at this point, I kind of feel like it might be a little wide open. It's still a little early in conference play. I think everybody's played 6 games at this point. We've gotten the 2 toughest pitching staffs out of the way on paper. So, that's behind us. So I see us being able to do really well from here at this point forward. But the rest of the conference, there's a lot of matchups out there. So I think it's going to be a jumble in some spots. And I think that you're going to see a couple teams separate themselves, but I think you're going to see a lot of other teams starting to fight there in the middle of the pack.
Year in, year out, it seems like Jacksonville State and Tennessee Tech, 2 of the better programs, kind of an edge this year. You have them both at home.
Yeah, definitely. We played both of them at home last year. We were fortunate enough to take 2 out of 3 from both of them at home last year. So obviously the fact that we don't have to go on the road to those places, obvious advantage for us. But, we've got to take every team we play from here on out with the same, level of concern and seriousness. So, it doesn't matter who it is at this point. We're going to have to be prepared.
David, always a pleasure. Once again, the Eagles are at home this afternoon, which is April 2nd. If you're watching on the internet, don't want to get them out too early. But also the next time at home on April 13th and 14th against Jacksonville State. We wish you the best.
Thank you very much.
Had to work on one thing between now and the end of the season. What would you want?
One thing.
Yeah, one thing.
Okay.
I won't put you on the spot.
Yeah,
here.
try to narrow this down. I would say staying competitive throughout the whole game as far as just putting a team away. Don't be complacent. Score enough runs to make sure that you distance yourself from your opponent and not allow them the opportunity to come back and have a shot at the end.
If you get them down, keep them
down. There you go.
Coach, we appreciate you. Once again, good luck the rest of the way, and we'll talk to you later on this season. David Williams, head coach of the softball team here at Morehead State University. Back with more. This is the Eagles Sports Coaches Show.